Hello and welcome back to the 12th episode of the Oral Podcast.
The Aura Podcast.
Joining us today, we have Alec, Dark,
Hello.
Vert, my lovely co-host Joseph, and myself, Nosy Koi, who will now be hosting this podcast. So this is going to be our second or third installment of like a spooky podcast. And who doesn't love to get spooky than to talk about spooky stories and everything in between. I know there's a lot of exciting things that are happening within Aura. That's going to be happening within the next 6 days, but we can't talk about much of what is happening right now. But I did want to bring on some people who might have some spooky stories that they wanted to share a little bit. And who wanted to start with their... Oh. Was that a doll, Alec?
No, it's not a doll. I hate dolls. I'm terrified of dolls.
Okay. Oh, it's a lot. Okay, that's a lot cuter. For audio listeners, it's a pink llama. Or alpaca. I don't know.
I thought he had a doll and he was like,
It's a llama.
Me too. He's like,
my
this is
girl."
my scary story. Here's my doll. Here's Annabelle, by the way. Say hi.
Yo,
Annabelle.
yo.
That would have been a quick disconnect.
Yeah, that would have been like, you know what?
Same.
Podcast is
We had a good run, boys.
What about...
Cancel the podcast.
Yeah, literally. Joseph, did you want to start? I think you have a lot of stuff actually to talk
I'll start.
Yeah.
I have like a really, really good one to start with. So in 2015, my ex was pregnant with our oldest baby, and I was at work, and she was like recording her stomach, so I could see the movements and stuff while I was at work, and she was watching American Dad in the background, and between the TV show, you can hear someone whispering, talking to her, like in the little breaks of silence, like
Mhm.
like where the people aren't talking, and it's just like music. You can hear someone whispering and talking to her, and it was in our first apartment together. And while we lived there, for whatever reason, every night, we had our room, across the hallway was the bathroom, to the right was gonna be the baby's room, to the left was the living room and kitchen. And every night, just like in the doorway, it would feel like something was staring at you, like super duper hard. Like, you know, that just like really, really like you can tell someone's watching you
Mhm.
feeling every night. And it just like every time you looked out into the hallway, it felt a lot darker than it actually was. So for like the 3 or 4 months we were there, we'd have to sleep with the door closed. And it never felt like you were by yourself, even when you were home alone. So it was...
Is that your
was
home
nice.
or was it her home?
No. That was our first apartment. We lived in just the two of
Oh.
us. Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't stay there for forever. But yeah.
Did
The
you
thing
did you ever
with the
get
Huh?
Did you ever get curious enough to like look at records and stuff? No.
I was too scared. Because like my fear was the thing is like we never really got confirmation something was there until we could hear it talk. If I can ever find the clip somewhere on Facebook, I'll show it to you guys. But it's really distinct, like something is talking to her and the baby, and we had no idea what it was. And for me, I was like, nope, that's a whole lot of closed door, get
Yeah.
out type deal for me.
Yeah.
Like, I was not about it, dude.
We
But-
always got taught to like if you had a suspicion that something was like in your house, you did your best not to acknowledge it or interact with it. Otherwise,
once you do, it stays.
yeah, you invite it into yourself. Like you invite it to latch on to you.
Mhm.
But I'm from Louisiana. We don't fuck with that shit. That shit's real. Oops, sorry.
That's
It's real.
That boop boop boop.
That boo boo.
I thought that'd be an interesting one to start with.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I used to babysit a lot when I was younger, and kids, I feel like, see a lot more than we do. Certainly the younger ones, like the 2 to 3 year olds, like that kind of age range. And I was babysitting a small kid, and usually I'm pretty good with kids. When they cry, I kind of let them do until they like kind of fall asleep. Usually it's like 15 minutes. And I was just watching TV, but this kid would not stop crying, and I was like, man, there's something up. And it was super, super late at night. The parents were out for like dinner or something. It was like really late in the evening, and they're only going to be coming back in about an hour and a half-ish. So I was still alone for a while, but all the kids were to bed. There was 3 boys, and the youngest ended up crying really, really loudly. And I was like, okay, there's always, it's not like a cry for attention. It was like a cry, like a different type of cry. So I went out and I checked the door and opened it, and he was screaming, crying, and I was like trying to calm him down, but it was like as if I was never there. It was the weirdest feeling because all he would do is I would crouch down because he had a really, really small bed, and I would look at him and I go, hey, it's okay, I'm here. Like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go to the living room? I don't know, like trying to make sure he doesn't wake up the other kids in the house. And every time I would talk, he would look above me as if something was standing behind me. I was like freaking out because one, I did not want to turn around, but at the same time I was trying to have the kid focus on me because I was like, please stare at me, stop staring at this empty wall behind me because I'm flipping out. It was like super dark in the room, and obviously he looked like he was startled by something, so I was like trying to get him out of that room because I didn't want to mess with whatever was in that room. So I was like, okay, we need to move, like let's go, kid. Like he was like probably like 2-3 years old. He was super young. But I was like, okay, we need to leave this area because no way are we going back in there. And he stayed awake with me in the living room watching TV until the parents got back. And I was like, peace. I took my money and I dipped. I was like, I'll see you guys later. It was terrifying. I was like,
absolutely not.
Hard pass.
I was like 14.
Did you say,
And so I was like,
did you say
kids
anything to the
and
parents?
animals? No, absolutely not. The things that the parents did say to me was that I apparently needed to give the youngest a pacifier, and apparently I didn't, and he ended up falling asleep. So I was like, that's pretty pog champ. He's like, yeah, thank you for sleep training my kid. And I was like, I didn't mean to, but you're welcome. I was like, I didn't mean to at all. Actually not giving him the pacifier, but no, it was like fabulous. But I got the biggest chills that night, and I just did not want to mess with whatever was in that room. So I think
Nope.
yeah, I went back a couple of times, but it was only to like day babysit, so it wasn't that bad. So we went outside and stuff, but the night babysitting really creeped me out. They had a basement and everything, and I was like,
You could have played real life Phasmophobia.
it's like I'm 14
For
years old. What am
real.
I supposed to do to like whatever the heck is in that room? Like,
According to Dev, you punch
Swing.
back.
I can't even drive
Yeah,
my own
literally.
car yet. Yeah, literally physically fight it. Absolutely not.
In all of the movies, you prevail. Like from what I understand, in all the horror movies, the little teenager that's babysitting the kids always wins. All right.
Really?
Facts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like old
They
movies.
never die.
Nowadays they kind of cross the line a little bit. And sometimes there's movies where no one lives. But you were in the past, so you would have been fine.
I would have been fine. This is several years ago, actually.
Yeah,
A
you would have
long
won.
time
You would have
ago.
won.
That's good. I babysit a couple kids, and I've had kind of those reactions, certainly with the younger ones, where they're like looking off or crying, or like, I'm just like, oh my god, please pay
What
attention
makes
to me.
kids so scary is like you never know if it's like their imagination or if they actually are seeing something.
If they're actually
like-
seeing something, yeah.
Yeah, with my kids, I never had that problem, thank God.
It's like they come up to you, it's like, there's a strange man in my room, and I was like, okay.
Slam
fun.
door. Good luck. That's
Good
your
luck,
room.
G.
That's your room.
That is your
Usually,
property.
the kids don't usually get affected in the movies. It's usually the people that start investigating that get affected. So if I leave him with the kid, that he's gonna be fine, according to the movie.
You hope.
The kid tells you it's there, and then the adults investigate, and that's when it gets
That's
bad.
when shit gets bad. It's always the adults.
Leave
that
it
come
alone.
in. Yeah, just leave it alone. Case in point, if there's something creepy, just leave it alone. It's not a good
Oh
idea.
yeah, they
So-
usually latch on to children, because children like obviously are like, I mean, more in touch with that plane because they haven't developed like the same understanding of the world that you and I have.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that connection with that other world, that other realm, yeah, and also a lot of times depending on the trauma of the spirit, like the reason why it's there. I mean, obviously there are good and bad spirits, but that they latch on to children and they don't like adults, but it's like because they connect with the children better. It's like a weird. Well,
Yeah.
Children are innocent and don't have like, because like say it's something that's murdered by like an adult, like you learn real quick, like that spirit would have been like, all right, this adult had ill intent. Kids never have ill intent. Well, most of the time, like because like
No,
they
you're
have
not
to be
gonna see a
bred to be
2-year-old
mean.
try and like. No, they're just
Mass
kinda
murder 12
vibing.
people or something.
Yeah, they're just
It's like,
vibing.
Google Gaga, bruh.
Yeah, bruh. No,
There's
yeah.
some pretty mean 2-year-olds out there, though.
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah.
terrible twos, right? That's the saying. But I think that's
Terrible-
just their attitude. It's like a teenager. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I think they're
I
worse.
don't know. I'm not a mom, so I wouldn't know. But my coworker's a mom, and she always talks about it. Her kid's 3 now, I think, and it's like hardcore for her. But funny. Sometimes they're very funny though. So she
Kids are
tells me-
sassy.
Yes, they're sassy, and she's very funny. And no, Kids are interesting, to say the least. Anybody else have any other ghost stories wanted to share? Something that happened? Go ahead, Vert.
So, as you know, a lot of more people know, I used to, as of yesterday, I used to work at a 5-star hotel where I lived. And when I first started, there's this massive building. I forget the name of it. I literally, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I just need to look it up. It's not called the Brownstones, but anyway, there's this massive building, a part of this hotel. It's kind of like a huge resort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally about to pull up the name of it. I just can't think of it right now.
Vert
Anyway,
is currently looking up the hotel or the place.
Yeah, the place that I work. I like literally, it's on the tip of my tongue. Accommodations. Let me see this. Hang on, one second. Once again, I apologize. The Estate House. There you go. It was called the Estate House, and this thing was built in like the early 1900s, and it was built next to the hotel, and then later on in like the early 2000s, the hotel bought it back and refurbished it. And when I was driving to go, give someone their car because I'm a valet, I look and I see someone standing in the window. I was like, "Oh, this guy's staying in the State House." I was like, "That's cool. They've got a lot of money because it's like $12,000 a night to stay there."
Holy, someone's got cash.
Yeah, and so I drove past. I was like, "Man, that's cool. Lucky them." Drop off the car. Nothing ever happened with it until 2 weeks ago, where one of the bellmen that's been there for years and years and years, like I think it's about 20 years he's been there for. He was like, "Yo, have you heard any stories about this place?" I was like, "No, I just come here, do my job, and I leave." He's like, "All right, let me let you in on something," because he's like, "There's some sketchy things that happen." He was like, "There was one time, personally, I was walking to a room to deliver some luggage, and there was a little girl out there, and and he asked her where her parents were, and she didn't respond, and he was like, "Would you like me to call for assistance?" And she shook her head. So he walks back to where you place back the bell carts and stuff, and then he's got a call to another room, and he's walking over to the another room and sees the girl again, and he's like, "That's sketch. That is really sketch." So he's also, "Where's your parents?" And she points. She's like, "They're at the pool." And she's pointing towards where the old pool was about 60 years ago, instead of the
no.
And he just walked off. He was like, "Nope."
You left the little girl there? What if the little girl just didn't know where the pool was and she just pointed in a random direction? It's like, that's the pool.
I don't know, but I mean, it was like he said it was in the exact location where the old pool was. She was pointing because it's like literally she was pointing like this way, and the pool that we have at the moment was like that way.
I just took 2-week notice for me, big dog.
No, you don't even get my 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is the real reason why I left. No, but yeah. Then he told me about the estate house. He's like, sometimes, you might see people living in the estate house, and there's going to be people in the window. But if you'll see them once, then if you look away and look back, they're gone. And I was like, "Oh no!" I know, like instantly as soon as I heard that, I remembered like my first couple weeks working there and seeing someone in the estate house.
The ghost got money though.
Yeah, facts. They were rich.
Yeah,
Hard pass.
The little girl one. Ooh.
Anytime there's like little kids involved, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
I've seen every movie. Those movies don't work out for anybody.
No.
When there's a little kid involved, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Little kid ghosts are savages, right? It's never the little kid by themselves. There's always something worse
behind it. Yeah.
Hard pass. Yep, hard pass.
The kid's a distraction. The big things behind it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Kid ghosts make me more sad than anything, honestly. But the thing is like when you see something, it might not always be what you think. And it's like if it's a kid ghost, it could be something evil, and to get it to let you in, it tricks you into thinking it's something nice and pure That's why, like, when Nexie has explained to me the guardian angel logic and stuff, because my family's been told we have one, right? And we've had like experiences with it. They've always been told, hey, if it's there and like you can sense it and stuff, like just let it do its thing. Because if you start to like, and we learned its name. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that, but that's according to Catholicism. But you never like let it in. You don't have a conversation with it. You don't try to establish a relationship with it, because then evil things can disguise themselves as it and let it like at that point it's got a free ticket straight to ruin your life.
Right.
No.
Oh
I'm just
my
saying,
Sounds like
will it
my
do its
ex.
Stop.
job? Oh, Ferdy poo. Boom, over. Kidney gone.
Kidney gone. That's terrifying.
I
Absolutely
want to
not.
sell one of my kidneys, man. You should get like 120K for those.
That's a house right there, dog.
Yeah, that is a house right there.
Maybe it's at the estate house, bro. You can stay there one
Facts.
night with that.
Spend a night
That-
there. Like if
Think
you're
about
ghost
it.
hunting.
Think about it. I sell one of my kidneys. I'm allowed to spend 10 nights at that house. 10 nights.
Why don't you
that's
buy
it.
something better
And
then?
that's including food.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
including food or other services. That's just
Like
for the night.
9 days then instead of 10.
Maybe 8,
Easy.
so that way you could splurge and go out one day.
Oh, true. Maybe you go out to a rich restaurant instead.
Oh no, I'd probably go to Mackey's or something.
Man of culture. A McDonald's and a haunted room. Love that.
Fuck, champ.
My friend used to own, well, she not own, her mother or grandmother used to own a house. Or they do still own a house. It's like a farm house. It's 150 years old. A lot of people died and a lot of people were born there. The first section of the house that was built was 150 years old, and then there's a new section that was built right beside it that's connected to your door. That's I don't know, like 50. It's a little bit newer, but a lot of people, they do like open caskets at the house, and like people were born, people died there. It's like a really, I feel like, very spiritually fueled home. I don't think there's any evil things in it. I think it's just like a lot of activity. But they used to do Ouija board, Ouija board
Ouija.
No,
readings in there.
no.
In those houses. My friends, I hate my friends. They had me sleep in a room where they had dolls, and I was like, I didn't sleep I literally did not sleep all night. I waited till they woke up, and I kept my friends awake with me because I was like, absolutely not. You guys are putting me through this. We're staying awake. Absolutely not. Like, I'm not. There was literally like 12 dolls lined up on a dresser, waiting, and I was like,
Nope.
you know what? I'm
Who
not.
thinks who thinks that stuff
Nah.
is cool, man, or aesthetically pleasing?
Yeah, but she's
Yeah,
like really
nah.
into like that kind of horror stuff though. So I wasn't
Dude,
surprised.
you need new
but-
friends, bro.
I
You need new
know.
friends.
I wouldn't
know.
have stayed in that room, period. Like, as soon
And,
as I seen the dolls, I'm out.
Those are
Well,
bad
no.
friends. I hope you don't have those friends.
No, I still love them to death. I just don't go to that
No,
house
You just said
anymore.
you hate them. You just
We go
said you
there
hate
for
them.
Christmas, but I
Contradicting
don't sleep there. I refuse to sleep there. I will sleep at my parents' place. Lives like 10 minutes away, and I usually crash at my parents' place whenever I go there. And like that's my number one rule. My friend makes fun of me all the time. She's like, "You don't want to sleep in the basement?" And I was like,
I'm
"Over
getting
my
Jackie a
dead
doll
body."
for her birthday.
Absolutely
I'm getting Jackie a
not.
doll.
Absolutely not. But her mom, when she was younger, used to play around in that house a lot with Ouija boards. And at one point, it was her mom and a group of friends in their 20s. And the thing you don't do is invite it to do things, but they invited it to do things. And it was like, show us a sign that you're there. And one of the girls' eyes turned red. I was like, okay, that's like absolutely not what you're supposed to do. It's like underlying cross. Do not let it like do anything. So her eyes, friends, turn red. Obviously, like she wasn't, under anything at all. But it was just like the fact that her eyes ended up red and stuff, and they never touched the Ouija board again. I don't think so. After that experience,
No, I mean,
terrifying.
that'd be smart. You just opened a portal for him.
Yeah.
Yep, you got.
Yeah,
There's
I
like.
have a story about that.
Yeah?
I'll
About
let her go ahead and tell a
the
story. though.
Ouija
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boards.
Oh, I hate the Ouija boards.
The Ouija boards.
It's a good story. He's told this to us a couple of times. It's not good in terms of it's scary, but it's interesting.
So this was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
There was a group of I had a very close group of friends, and there was like 6 of us. And then one of them straight away started doing drugs and partying a lot, and like heavy drugs like Percocet and Molly and all this type of stuff. And we're like, we're gonna pass until you're chill. And he got with this other group of friends, and for some reason, they were like, oh yeah, let's go to a bunch of places and do a Ouija board.
Mm.
And me and my buddy, me and my best friend Matthew were like, all right, we need to search up like what this actually does. So we did some research, and we told him, we were like, yo, excuse me, not a good idea. Not a good idea. And my buddy was like, oh, it's fake anyway. So they go to 5 different locations, like this, like him and this new group of friends. They're all drunk or whatever. And that they forgot to say goodbye. That was the one thing. They forgot to say goodbye at every single location. And for like 3 nights straight, every single night at like as soon as it hit 3, all of them would wake up and like projectile vomit and be like deathly ill. And he would come to school the next day like, yo, all of us threw up at like 3 a.m. I mean, my buddy was like, we told you not to do it. Come on, man.
Mess with stuff.
I was like, what did you guys do? And like, we ran through the steps and then like, okay, what did you do and all this type of stuff. And then we got to, did you say goodbye? And he was like, no. And I was like,
there you go.
Get away from me.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Well, you all of you are gonna have to go back and say goodbye to every single location. So
Where's the
Just
fun
high
in that?
vibe.
Like, I don't get it. Like, where's
I
the
don't-
fun in antagonizing something you literally have no control over? Like,
Spirits
like,
aren't nice either.
yeah,
I was like, I'm just like, I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. I just want to chill out. You know, Jesus
Yeah,
is
no,
my savior, man.
On God, if there's a spirit here, there's a reason it's here. Don't.
Yeah.
because like it's not necessarily that they're all like bad. It's just some of them are like grief stricken, and they're gonna be grief stricken forever or until they get released to go wherever. And I know there's like different practices that like can do that type of thing, or there's like just some people that just have the gift where they can like send it on. I'm not one of those people. You'll never catch me doing something that dumb. Like, I don't know, man. Something that like there's no set like there's no set rules for it. Like you could be like, oh, well, you have to play by the Ouija board's rules. Who's gonna tell? Like, I'm not gonna tell this invisible thing.
Is there a
I can't see.
referee
What the-
here? Like, what the?
Yeah, dude, it's like, all right, ding, ding, ding. You got 5 minutes, and then he's out. Just make sure you say goodbye. Like, no, Like, if they're there, like Dark said, it's probably not a good and/or happy. Like, sometimes they just attach to items and stuff, like fucking or I goofed or something. But I'm normally really good about that now.
Yeah.
But
Deadass. I have this Pirates of the Caribbean pillow that I got as a kid, when I was really like young, like when that first came out.
So bad.
And the top part of it is like a normal skull, and the other part of it is a bloody skull.
Yeah.
And we threw this pillow away on multiple occasions. And then, but like the issue with it is you could, okay. So when I first moved to Louisiana, we moved into this house. We were renting it from these people, and we had this weird stuff going on all the time. Like, lights in certain parts of the house would turn off, even though there was nobody in them. And like my fan would turn on randomly.
Need some air.
And like issues with like doors swinging open and closed at random parts of the night. It was like this weird, unexplainable thing. But we just jokingly, we were like, this is stupid, right? And I was young, like I was like little, and so we named him Marty jokingly. And this one time my dad asked me to go out. It was it's like 11 p.m. My dad tinkers with things all the time, and he asked me to go get a tool out of the tool shed. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. Well, I have the keys, and I wore like pants with belt loops all the time, so I just hooked the keys to my belt loop, and I was walking, and it was cicada season, so you could hear all the cicadas like really loud. They're super loud. And it was like cold and breezy outside. So it was like loud, like you could hear like the wind and the leaves and the cicadas and everything, right? So I'm walking out to the shed, and I can hear like the keys and everything, and then like about halfway to the shed, I don't hear anything except for the keys jangling up against my right leg. And I didn't think anything of it until I got like 4 steps away from this old ass shed that was on the property. You get 4 steps away and the wind stopped. Like the wind, I realized like I'm standing in front of the shed and I don't hear or feel anything except for the keys against the right side of my leg. And I was like, like what's going on? Why is everything so quiet?
Everything's
Like
so
this
quiet,
is this is like hurricane season. What? Like I was like really confused. And then the hair on the back of my neck stood up, like when you get the chills.
Mm-hmm.
And this locked shed, the door opened all the way up against to the other side of the shed. And I swear, I'm a soccer player. I've never run that fast. I ran back to my dad and I told that man, I was like, I am so sorry. Hell no, you can go get your wrench. I am, I was like, I'm not doing it. Well,
absolutely not.
So we had like that pillow, and I always kept it flipped to the nice side is what we called it, like the nice side and the bad side. Always flipped to the nice side. When I came back into my room after that, it was flipped the other way.
Mm.
And so like every time it's weird because every time that I go back into the room where the pillow is, it's flipped the other way. And I don't know if somebody's like pranking me, like just this is like a long prank throughout my whole life that I've had this pillow or
So
not.
it's very dedicated.
But like every time that I see
pillows.
it, it's flipped over. And so we've thrown it away multiple times, and like I moved into this house and I opened up a box with all my old trophies in it, and that freaking pillow is sitting in the, like, it is the scary, like I don't know what to do with it. So I just have it.
You still have
It's
it?
here. Yes, I can't get rid of it. Like it keeps coming back.
What do you mean?
Damn,
It's
like,
coming
just-
back?
Burn it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, just burn it.
If you burn it, like I think it doesn't like I don't know. Dark. All I know is we're not friends no more, bro. We had a good run.
Oh,
Like,
it's that's the one like really. I mean, I have another like
Oh.
ghost story. I'm sure somebody was just playing a prank on me, but yeah, that's one thing. I don't know I haven't been able to get rid of it.
I think it
Hard mess.
attached a
So-
Jack Sparrow pillow. They said, you know what, that one.
Yeah.
See, if a ghost like came into my room right now, I'd be like, "Ooh," I'd be like, "Yo, you trying to play some Rocket League or something?"
Is that what you would say if a ghost walked in?
Yeah, I'd
Ow.
be like, "Yo, you trying to
Please,
play? I'm
Rocket
trying to
League.
entertain you right now. Like,
That'd be-
entertain on the game, not on me, because I want to live, and you'll be vibing. I'll teach you how to aerial, and you will get and."
Bro, this is the censored episode, man.
It's a censored episode, yeah. That's terrifying, though. Absolutely not. I have a
Dude,
lot of
heck,
like
man.
different ones, but some of them are like positives as well. Like when my grandfather passed away, my mom, without even getting a call, she knew that my grandfather passed away because we were in a you know what a gondola is? Like a it's like
Gondola?
it's like a huge thing that it's like a moving. I don't know how to describe it. It's like on wires and it goes up mountains.
Yeah.
There's just like a group
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah,
people that kind of sitting in it. But it was me and my entire family. My mom was there, and she was looking out over a lake as we were being brought up the mountain. And that's the moment when I guess my grandfather had passed. And my mom had a really strong attachment to my grandfather because she had a really terrible relationship with her mother, unfortunately. So, like, my grandmother was a bully to her, basically. And so she stuck around and was raised by my grandfather. And as she was looking out over the horizon and then seeing kind of us kind of playing around, I don't know, me and my sisters were, I don't know what the heck we were doing. We're just messing around. And she heard his voice saying, "You're going to do great," or something like that, like super positive and whatnot. And then later that night, she got a call that he had passed. So it was like a really weird coincidence. And my mom always tells me about that story. So my mom says every time there's huge snowflakes, because we were raised northern Ontario, my mom. So it was a lot of snow all the time during the winter. And these big snowflakes, my grandfather would say, to my mom, like, "Oh, it's your snowflakes that are out right now," because they're super big. So every time there's like a huge snowflake, they're really massive. They're super wet. That's basically like a sign that grandfather's watching over us. It's like always a positive kind of outlook on that. So it's like really cute. That one's a little bit better than the red eyes and the
The haunting pillow.
the haunting pillow
Yeah.
and all that. A little bit more positive on that, but that's like one of the only positive ones. And that one, and like my sister's friend's mom had kind of a weird connection where she could, it was like kind of like deja vu, but she would dream it and she'd be able to tell what would happen. And her boss was supposed to go out on a ski trip, but she had a dream that they died in an avalanche. And so she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to my gut on this one and talk to her boss about it. Was like, hey, I know this is so weird, but can you please listen to me and like cancel your trip? You can go next weekend, type of thing, but just don't go this weekend because I think something bad's gonna happen. And then finally, with like so much like persuasion, finally the boss let up and was like, fine, I'll cancel it and I'll push it back, type of thing. And that weekend on that mountain ended up killing like 20 people because there's an avalanche. She basically saved her boss's life. It was insane. Like she
Predicting the future.
yeah, there's different situations like that. She had really strong connection. I think she was being watched by some sort of angel or something that was trying to help her guide her life and protect the people around her. And then at one point because apparently it takes a lot of energy, and she got really tired of it, and she wanted to raise her, her daughter and stuff like that. And she's like, hey, I'm tired of this. Can this stop? And when she said, like, can this stop? It finally stopped and kind of left her alone. But it was like the weirdest thing ever. Find that
Crazy.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I've ever had a positive spirit thing happen to me. I always just run
Really?
into some demonic, like, no,
I
seriously.
think it's the States, man. I don't know. Can't
I don't
vibing
know.
up here.
Louisiana is crazy. Like, but
Some good
this,
stuff.
I was in high school, and I think I was a freshman or a sophomore, but I was like really, really religious at that point. Like youth group, I had Jesus business cards in my wallet. Like, that's how religious like I was at the time. And so this one time I remember I went to the bathroom because I had used the restroom, but I also always had these Jesus business cards. And that day, like something told me that I should go and tape them to the back of the stalls, right? Because we take it, and then somebody can go to the church that's listed on there or call like a whatever. And so I did that in each of the stalls, and as I walked out of the last stall, there was a girl standing in front of the mirror. I mean, and at my school, we didn't really have mirrors. We had like metal sheets that kind of
What?
like, looked like mirrors. America.
What?
Anyways,
Okay.
What kind of school did you go to?
It's a
actually,
prison.
I
I
ain't
went to
never
like
seen that.
I went to like the best school in my parish, but my school has like a really, really serious history of like students dying of multiple things on and like going to or like whatever campus, like however it's like got a long history of students just dying while going there. But I walked out and I saw this girl just staring at the mirror, and she hadn't used the bathroom, and I didn't even hear her walk in. So I'm just sitting there looking at her, and I was holding like my Jesus business cards, like Jesus Christ's face was right here on this business card.
Be gone!
And she was really standing there staring at herself in the mirror, and I'm like, hey, are you all right? Because she wasn't washing her hands or anything. She was just standing there. And like a lot of times, like, we were a really intense school, so like a lot of people go to the bathroom to cry. And
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I was checking on this girl. Well, I took a step towards her, and she turns around and looks at me, and her eyes from side to side were totally black. There were no whites. Like 100%, and I'm not capping. Like literally black from side, like. And
It's a
she,
lot of
and
marker.
no, like her eyes, and I was standing there with the Jesus business card, and I just kind of stopped, and I just looked at her, and she like did that head tilt thing that creepy people do in creepy movies, and I was just literally, I think I stood there and stared at her for 30 seconds before I was like,
You good, fam? Bring in that card.
Be blessed.
I was like, you need this more than I do. And I straight up left, and I ran straight back to my theater class, and I sat down and I said,
There's a demon girl in the bathroom. I don't know
Yeah.
how to say this.
There's a troll in
I think
the
she's having a
dungeon.
hard time. I don't know what's happening, but I gave her my Jesus card, so it fixes it.
I literally never saw her again after that. Like, I didn't recognize her before and never saw her again. And somebody eventually was like, hey, Alex, she probably had contacts in. She's probably just one of those weird people who does that. And I, like, at school. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. But it scared the crap out of me at the time, bro. Like,
You walk
Side note,
around with
bro.
those things, though. What the? You got new contacts, guys. Look at it. Check it out.
by myself in the bathroom. Let me just
Yeah, let me
scare
lock
some
myself
poor
in the
girl.
bathroom with this poor girl that's giving out Jesus
Oh,
cards.
you know what that reminds me of? Like kids in like elementary or middle school where they would like put 2 dots in their neck and walk
Yes.
with their top
gosh.
and all that. Like,
I'm a vampire.
like what happened? They're like, you don't want to know, and I'm just like, bro, it's so cringe, man.
You got the new
Did
set
I
of
miss
markers?
that?
It's really good.
Oh, Alex.
Like it
That
happened.
never happened.
No, that was
Fam,
a
you
big
must have gone to a
thing.
normal school to be
Man,
honest.
Alec
Like,
had the
everyone...
most normal everything, dude.
Bro,
that
I live
sharp
in
jawline, man. No one wants to. No one
I
wants
live
to.
in a small town. Like my town is 4,000 people.
Oh.
Yeah, you're chilling. Like I have
Alex
people.
is
Yeah.
living his life, and the rest
Yeah,
of us
I
are like.
grew up in a small
booming.
town too. Well,
I live in
yeah.
one of the fastest growing cities in the country, man.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of weird people in there.
I mean, I lived in like Cali, Phoenix, Arizona, Texas, and a couple other places. I mean, I know what
But
city
you-
life's like, but like
Just
that
compared
never
to-
happened to me. Who just put marker on their neck and walked around?
It's just
Weirdos,
weird kids,
man.
bro.
Weirdos,
Furries.
man.
Furries. Sorry, furry community, if you're watching. I apologize. It's my demographic. Wow.
I still laugh
Fam,
at that little furry video from the Try Not to Laugh challenge. Like the one that got me and Joseph. I was like, I still laugh at that when I think about it.
Fam, like, this has nothing scary at all. But my buddy, like, it had nothing to do with me. It was my friend. My buddy went to a Halloween party. I skipped out because I didn't want to go. I wanted to play Rocket League because, you know, dedication to the dream, baby. But he went to the party, and apparently there was this girl.
Can you pull him back in?
Yeah, I got it.
Where did he get pulled to? Oh, hang on. Technical difficulty.
I'm gonna. Okay.
Yeah, someone opened my door and then my
The call
Wi-Fi
was-
just went.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
so it was a split second for you guys, and it was also a split second for us. But welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, Bert, you were
But,
telling your story about you
so
skipped out on
my
Halloween.
buddy. So yeah, my buddy went to a Halloween party because we were in high school. You know, live life to the fullest. So he goes to a party. There was a girl dressed up in a furry costume. Turns out it was a guy trying to seduce guys while they were intoxicated. So
Mm,
I was not
Seems
a fan
like-
of that.
seems like every high school party where I don't know, a lot of males go
And,
to females without consent.
The guy was
Put that that way.
27. The guy was
27?
27.
In a high school, is this high school? How old is this? Oh,
It's like 17, 18.
First of
Wow.
all,
why?
you're very old.
Okay, okay, first of all, if you're 27 years old going to a high school party, that's red flag number one. Who invited him?
I feel
Who
like
let
the
them in?
cutoff
Yeah.
to go to high school parties.
It was a
is
costume.
If you're like, if you're 1 year removed and you still have friends that are about to get out of school, that is the only
Yeah,
One
yeah,
year
yeah.
removed,
exception.
Yeah.
And they're drunk. Like what?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I have against furries because of that time.
The
I don't get it,
27-year-old man at the party.
I don't get it, man. People are wild.
I think I'm more frustrated at the fact that he's 27 more than he's a furry.
Oh no, like
Same.
no, yeah, that's
Wait,
that's
it's
the main
because
part.
it's because when you slap the mask on and stuff, there's so much like, what's the word? Anonymity or something.
What?
Like,
Anonymity?
well, like you're anonymous. No one knows who you are. So like, it could be like, you know, they're pretending to be an ooh girl under it, and you're like, oh heck yeah, I'm about to.
Oh, if it's
you
a
know, and then they're
27-year-old
like-
man trying to ooh, you're gonna probably understand
It's
that it's
like,
probably
Right,
not
that's the
27.
thing.
I don't know, man. I've been told by Uriel that when I change my voice a little bit, you can't tell it's me. All right, I'm different. I'm
Fam,
pretty
that's a-
different.
It still sound like a man though.
Fam, that's the
First
thing.
of
That's the thing I told him. I was like, "How do you not understand that was a dude?" He was like, "Fam, my hair was like
He is
8
too
beers in,
yeah,
bro."
But when you're
intoxicated.
drunk, when you're drunk,
You had to
just-
have been gone.
He he was a lightweight, so probably.
I-
I was like,
I
nah,
went
man, you wouldn't
to-
catch me slipping.
I went to a
Nah.
small town, so any Halloween party we had you got girls with cat ears, and then just a lot of alcohol. And it was like we would do is have parties in fields. Sorry, mom, if you're hearing this. You got parties in fields, and you invite every other school in the municipalities nearby, and then they'd all come in, and it'd be like 500 kids in a field intoxicated that are like 16, 17, 18. Please don't underage drink.
Gangnam Style, isn't it?
Best parties, but also the worst parties. I'm glad I lived it, but then I've had enough.
Same.
There has to be a point where you just tap out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the small house parties. It's like huge, massive DJs. A lot of underage drinking, and a very angry parent the next day that didn't know this was happening on their farm
Yeah.
line. Basically, it's like really bad.
But yeah, I just want to preference nothing against furries or, you know,
Just 27-year-old
Guys,
men.
It's just
continue.
guys liking
27-year-old
guys, girls liking girls. It's trying to get with underage people when you're 27 and, you know, lying and like manipulating and all that while people are
Here's the
intoxicated.
thing
That's
with
what got me.
like the age gap. It's like when you're younger, it's like a year difference is like big max. But then when you're older, when you're like 40 or like 30 and you're dating someone who's like 40, 50-ish, it's not as bad, I feel like, because you're already in that life. You're in
Yeah.
that lifestyle set of mind where like you're all out of college, you're all working full-time jobs, you're an adult, you're consenting. But it's like if you're 18 or 27 going to an 18-year-old's party, like the
Not even.
18-year-olds are going to college now. They don't know what they're doing with their lives quite yet.
They're legal adults. They're still essentially teenagers,
There's
though.
That's why when
Facts.
people, a lot of girls get targeted with that. They get, say, I'll preface this gently, but groomed by older men. It's like, no, he doesn't find you cute. He just can't pull girls from his own age or prefers girls that are younger. But yes, go off, queen. But yes.
I want to go back to the scary stories, man. I'm sad now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for me.
That's scary. What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, yeah, it was pretty spooky.
It's pretty spooky.
I mean, it's not like ghosts and demons and all
Yeah,
that.
but it's
I
real
really-
life scary. Like
it's
confirmed
real
life
scary. That's a spooky predator.
That's a real life thing.
Yeah, Chris Hansen was licking his lips. He was like, "Come on."
Yeah, but it's
me catch
funny
you later.
because like my mom taught me that there's good spirits and bad spirits. So I've always believed that there's good ones, and I think that's why
Oh, for sure.
I've always been attracted, I think, by good spirits. But it's really PogChamp. They just kind of sit around and maybe move some stuff, but it's nothing harmful, like flipping a pillow over with a bloody skull. It's like, I'm gonna knock your cup of water over because, like, it's kind of
I
like
wish-
the little
Dad,
things.
I wish I would have asked my mom about her bad experiences. She's only ever shared the good ones with me, like especially as a kid. But I
Mhm.
obviously, like, it's once I became aware of that type of thing, she didn't want me to be scared to be by myself. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
I'm still scared to be by myself. But like some of the things that I can think of. So like the whole guardian angel thing has been like a big concept for me growing up, in the sense of we've been put in a lot of spots we shouldn't have got out of, but for some unknown reason we did.
Mhm.
Like when I was a kid and my parents got divorced, like there was like a hard divorce. Like my brother and I have not seen our father since we were children. My mom was fainting and she hit the ground, and a whole bunch of Marines were helping her stand up because she had just passed out because they had to force us away. And she said she felt someone like lightly grab the back of her head and help her stand up. There was no one trying to pick her up from behind or put their hand behind her head. And then like there was a situation where my brother and we were in wrong place, wrong time. So I used to hang out with some terrible people. I was in 2 drive-by shootings, and they were very, 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 very
Wow.
close. Like other people had been hit, and for someone, like I was close proximity, it was fine. But there was a time we were going down the street, and everything was wide open, all that fun stuff, and they were chasing. They let their dogs loose on us for whatever reason. My brother was in the very rear. I was closer to the front. When they let the dogs loose for whatever reason, they were not attracted to me or my brother. They were attracted to everybody else. And for me, I'm like, dude, like, there's no way, like, something wasn't like, hey, yo, I got you. And like the big thing for me is I was just stillborn at birth. I was dead for like 4 or 5 minutes,
Oh man.
and like hard dead, like
Okay.
and like I know when you're like a baby, lungs smaller, all that fun stuff. Like if you're dead, there's a good chance you're not gonna
Yeah.
you're not bouncing back. And like for me, like I ended up not being the big dead. My mom had babies before me that shouldn't have made it, that didn't make it. And like I'm always like, yo, like something had to have been like, hey, yo, Joseph, you gonna be great one day. Let me bless you up really quick and let you not do the death. And that always like I'm like they're like I don't know like the odds I guess I'm like something was looking out for me some way somewhere somehow or whatever. And I used to go looking for trouble with the whole spooky ghost thing. My friends, their house is on what used to be a slave plantation. Doors slamming, people getting lifted up, all this bad stuff happening. My brother and I used to spend the night in there all the time. Nothing ever happened to me or him. Everything happened to everybody else. Like I'm talking, dude took a picture in his room. There was something spooky at the top of his room. We saw a door swing wide open, stuff get knocked over. And I used to do like active ghost hunting at places that you probably shouldn't have been at. And nothing bad ever happened to us. But bad things happen to everybody else. And I'm just like the odds that nothing bad has ever happened to us is like, but everybody else, like we saw everyone else experience it. I'm like, and one more, and then I'm done. I swear.
Oh, this is interesting. I love hearing all these things.
We were in a 3-car pileup as kids that left my mom like messed up. She had like a concussion for forever, neck brace, crushed in the steering column and everything. Brother and I are in the back seats. The car in front, everyone was stopped. We were pulling to the stop. The car behind us hit us like it was like 60 or 70 or something. They slammed into us, pushed us up on top of the car in front of us, like just the back end, so everyone was fine. Then we came back and crushed the car behind us. And when they did the investigation, all that fun stuff, they were like, if you guys would have been hit any faster, both of your children would have been dead in the back seat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, whew, there's a lot of people that don't get that kind of like luck. I don't really believe in luck, so it's because of that incident. Yeah. A lot of people don't get to walk away from something like that as well as we did. My mom would have been fine, but brother and I both would have died. And that is really what made me think, like, because I used to think it was mumbo jumbo fucking heckin' hocus pocus shenanigans. And then after that, and my mom telling me that later in life, I was like, there's no way something wasn't watching over us to keep my brother and I from being killed in that crash. Because we were little kids. We were both single digit years. I think I was like, what grade are you in? How old are you in 3rd grade? Like 8, 7? My brother was like 5. And I'm like, I've seen worse things happen from slower car accidents. So I was like, there's no way something didn't keep us in one piece that day. So
that's interesting. Did you come out unscathed, or did you have injuries?
Everybody in that car, my brother got a little bruise on his leg. Everybody else in that accident got hurt, but us too. Everybody. Mom got messed up. Car in front of us got messed up. Guys behind us got messed up. We were the only 2 unscathed. Like, you had like your genuine like soreness because or whatever, but everyone else had
whiplash.
Whiplash.
Yeah, everyone else had like concussions, and my mom got the brunt of it. But which is weird because she was in the front. The impact all came from the rear, but she got crushed in the steering column. Which is, I'm like, how come nothing happened to us in the back if the lady in front got destroyed?
Some really strong seatbelts.
Yeah, freaking but
stand seatbelts.
Nothing happened to us. Like we were both fine running around the next day. I was like, dang, my arm kind of sore, but other than that, like nothing. My brother got a bruise, and everyone else is like, I'm hurting.
Having a hard time.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. As long as it's nothing bad. Like I don't know. Like my ex's house was haunted. I ain't never deal with it. Like I was just like, nope. Anytime something spooky happened, I was like, nope.
Anytime someone tells me, like, yeah, there's stuff in my house, I'm like, yeah, I'm never sleeping over, but thanks anyways. I'll come for dinner, but that's a max amount of time I'll stay.
I lived there for like a year and a half. Like you could just feel it was there, but hard pass.
Who goes into buying a house and they're like, go through like, yeah, there's some ghost sightings or whatever, but I mean, it has a great kitchen. It has an island on it, and you're like, yeah, sold.
Coming for microwave.
It's like absolutely not.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, it's like stupid. I hate those movies where the new family walks in and you're like, wow, it's a little haunted or run down, but we can renovate it. Smile, and you're like, okay, what?
Burn some sage. Like I'm sure there's things you can do to cleanse it, but I'm not spending the time on that.
Yeah. I don't even want to. Yeah. What if you piss it off? Like, absolutely not. What if I'm not doing anything?
Yeah, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah, what if it doesn't work?
Literally.
It's just going to piss it off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want to come into my house.
Yeah, it's like we're moving. It's like, I feel rude going into it. Let the ghost have it. I'm done. I'm going to go.
No, this is yours, fam. Keep it.
Let me go get a 2018 house that was literally built 2 years ago. Thank you.
Good night. You try to sell it to the ghost? Yo, like, $50K.
50K.
50K. That's it, bro. Just 50K. Pay up.
Pay up.
If this is phasmophobia, you're gonna hear it over the radio go pain, and you're just like, never mind. You can have it free.
My family has like a long run of terrible car accidents. Like all my family. A lot of people died. A guy got trapped in a car, got burnt alive. It's terrible. It's like I have so many news clippings and stuff, and like so funny. My friend who owns the house that's 150 years old, we're like 8th cousins apparently, because like, hold on, I'm rambling now. We're like 8th cousins because apparently what happened was that a long time ago, when Canada was still kind of establishing itself, the guy who's basically like a great grandfather slept with the priest's daughter, and he got shipped out. So we were split then, and that's how our family tree got linked, is because a guy decided to sleep with the priest's daughter, and that's like a big no. So he got like banished to the underworld, and that's how our family tree was split. It was like so interesting.
He just wanted the holy hole, dude.
Yeah, and then like tons of news clippings of like I don't know, my family dying, people in my family dying of car accidents and stuff. So I'm like always super sketched out when I have to drive anywhere. In the back of my mind, it's like, it could be you next, and you're like, okay, it's like a curse on my family. Absolutely
my
not.
family has that kind of bad history, and I have the clippings for it. You're not going to catch me driving, period. You're not going to catch me in a car.
Like,
I'll ride a bike.
Although though, like,
I'll segue.
we're like, it's not bad, the percentage, because there's like 50 of us, so it's like, you know, 1 or 2 like in the past 20 years isn't too bad. So it's like, I'll take my chances. I kind of still want to go to Taco Bell, but like, I'm
I'm sure that's what they thought too.
Risk it for a Taco Bell.
No, it was just Aunt Susie. We'll be fine.
One of them just like got kicked off a carriage, and another one was like burnt alive in a car. But it was like, okay, I'm just gonna vibe.
But you know, Taco Bell is Taco Bell.
You
so
know,
you know,
so-
do our thing.
It's different, man. Doritos Loco Taco.
Yeah, exactly.
5-layer burritos are the best.
Yeah.
I don't eat Taco Bell, man. I'm a Mickey D's, Burger King.
Oh, I
Wendy's
love
type.
Wendy's. Wendy's.
How do people like Wendy's?
Bro, the
No,
closest
dude, how do I
Wendy's,
kick the kid?
What do you mean?
Delicious.
the closest Wendy's is 2 hours away.
Oh,
Either
dude,
direction.
Don't go, Alec. Don't go. It's
The closest Taco Bell, 2 hours away.
I
Closest
can't
anything
eat
good,
McDonald's.
2 hours away.
I got drilled into
Dang.
my head that McDonald's was bad, and I can never go to it anymore, even though I eat other trash fast food places.
It was like so.
You eat
it
Taco
tastes-
Bell.
I've never had Taco Bell in my life. What I eat a lot is Dairy Queen and Wendy's.
Oh, Dairy Queen.
I love
Ooh.
Dairy Queen.
Blizzards and cheese
Blizzards,
curds, man.
Oh,
Oh, the cheese
Ice
curds, the
cream.
pretzel sticks.
I wonder if we're gonna keep this in.
yeah.
Comment down below. What's your favorite fast
What's
food
your
restaurant?
snack?
Mine's Raising Cane's.
Do you guys have Sonic in
No,
Canada?
Yeah.
I don't have
Oh, not in
Sonic.
Canada.
Do you have Raising Cane's?
When I come down to visit, you guys are gonna have to teach me what the heck is an In-N-Out and all that, and like
I've never
IHOP.
been to
In
it.
and out.
I've never been there either.
In-N-Out's pretty good.
I've been to
I,
a lot of
I
burgers.
think it's overhyped.
Like
I went and had
Sonic.
it, and it's like.
Wait, is In and Out the northern thing?
No, it's Western.
Oh, because
Yeah,
I
it's
like
like
went
Cali, I think, right, or something.
So I went to Texas doing inmate transports, and the first thing I did was like, we're stopping at Whataburger. I have
That
to-
is
yeah,
fire.
that thing too. I don't know
I
any
haven't
of
had
those
that.
things, so I would teach you guys Canadian food. I want you guys, if ever any of you come visit Canada, is to have a beaver tail. That's like the first thing I'm feeding you guys.
The hell is
That
that?
sounds
tail.
delicious. I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, it's not
What's
an
it like?
actual beaver tail. It's just
Oh,
that they
shit.
called it. It's basically like a pastry, and it's massive, and you put that in like in a bunch of napkins together. I eat that while I'm skating all the time. On the
You
reading.
eat it? Do you eat the napkins?
No, I don't eat the napkins. It's not like rice
Bro, it
paper.
tastes better with the shell on, man.
Oh
I
no!
was like,
Eat your burgers with your freaking wrappings on? What the heck?
yeah.
Ew.
All I can think about now is pegged and kiwi.
But it's like a pastry, and they put on like cinnamon and like it's just like or Nutella, and it's like just delicious. Anyways, and they fry it, and it's like a churro but like flat kind of thing.
So like a funnel cake.
Kind of. I don't know what a funnel cake is.
Funnel cake. I'm
But
so
kind
mad,
of.
dude. I'm so mad. I don't know how to explain it to her.
Oh, I'm looking up a picture. It's like a giant
funnel
pretzel.
cake or
What the heck is that?
Funnel cake
They're-
hit different, dude.
They're nothing like funnel
Yeah, but
cakes.
it's flat. Beaver tails, if you look it up, they're flat. They're like
Well, if I look up beaver tails, I'm literally going to get tails of beavers.
no.
Just type in beaver tail
It's a-
pastry. You could just do that too.
I look
Yeah, I'm
up
looking
beaver
it up
tails,
right
and
now.
I have the exact thing I'm looking for.
All right, look.
It's a company, that's why.
Beaver.
They're massive.
Beaver tail. Oh.
You see
Oh,
that?
hey.
Yeah, M&M's on it. You want to put some bananas and Nutella? with a different flavor.
Fold that. Just
Yeah. And what I would do is I would skate on the canal, and I would have that in my hands and just like stuff my
See,
face.
look at this. Look at this. This might mess up the video, but
Uh-oh.
look. Beaver tail. Told you. Beaver.
Yeah,
tail.
well,
I don't
it's the
know.
other stuff.
Just ignoring all
around
the
it.
pastries around it.
Beaver. Beaver.
Oh, this really
tail,
did mess up my
tail,
thing.
beaver, tail, beaver.
He is just ignoring all the pastries around that image. He's like, nope, I proved my point.
I did. And I am
Amazing.
happy.
Okay.
Jackie.
I think we hit our 1 hour mark, to be honest, already. It's like 20 minutes. Yeah. There you go. Had to stop and go. But thank you all so much for participating in the podcast. I know it was very short notice. Usually I'm pretty good with being early, but this week I just have not been on the ball at all for anything. But I appreciate you guys. You guys can check out all these wonderful people down below. Their Twitter is going to be linked as per usual. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye. Bye. Say bye, because all of us
Bye.
are saying
Bye.